I'll make a statement. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with this statement, but I want to get a bit of an understanding from the panel. The statement is as follows: Ange Postecoglou and Ruben Amorim should both be sacked, even if they win the Europa League. That's the statement. I'm not saying I agree with that or I disagree with that, but I'm hearing today a lot of people want Amorim out. Now, I bumped into Culture Cams yesterday. Big up to Cams every time. And he says, I want him gone even if we win. He's absolutely terrible. Now, Cams is someone I respect in terms of the content world. He's someone who normally does speak a lot of sense, in my opinion, on Man United. And he's just seen enough and thinks it's terrible. They've not improved since Ten Hag. It actually got worse. And the stats are bigging that up. I don't know if you, Dan, agree or disagree with that. I had a chat with Terry today. He thinks it's just United and it's just the culture. But my kind of excuses are running out about this culture thing, because how bad is it? Isn't it a new structure now and the culture is being removed? How long do we use this culture thing for? Does that go on for another 5 years? Because at Arsenal, it was removed within one window, to be fair, when we got rid of the Ozils and Aubameyangs. And I wasn't even a fan of that back then, but it was actually absolutely needed. So that's where I'm at. Let's start with you, Dej, because obviously you're massively Anja, whatever, and then we'll come back to Dan on his thoughts on that question. What are you telling me, bro? Do you get that, Dej?
Yeah.
Go on.
There's a lot going on. Yeah, I missed the last bit. Sorry, my screen froze briefly. But you said something about where my stance is on Postecoglou if he wins the Europa League.
And Amorim as well.
What
do you think of that statement, basically? That Amorim and Ange should both go, even if they win.
Yeah, I think for Amorim, Amorim doesn't lose his job if they don't win it. I think that's totally unfair. That's not his team. He only arrived in Jan, and you know that he doesn't have the players to play his system. So I think Amorim has got a bly, or he's got a pass for this season. As for Postecoglou, there is no pass. He's been there. This is his second season, and we have been sinking like faster than the Titanic. It's absolutely woeful and disgraceful. I did a show earlier where I titled it, Postecoglou is either a madman or is a genius. This Europa League final is bigger than the Champions League this year. The reason why it's bigger than the Champions League is simply because one of our clubs is going to be saved. We've had two dusty teams, dusty all season, but a cup will just kind of be like, okay, you were rubbish, but you got a cup. The other, it confirms the level of dust. Now, that is, for me, I was saying, like, you know, normally when you're playing in the final, the pressure is to win. The pressure is to win. And if you don't win, your pride is dented, and it's a bit of a shame. When we was in the Champions League final against Liverpool, as much as it hurt, it wasn't so terrible. This season, it's literally all or nothing. Win, and you survive and you live another day. Lose, and you die a death, and you've made your club a laughingstock. So for me, Postecoglou, I haven't seen in... I'm taking it from United's books under Ten Hag. It's clear he can't manage the team both. He said it himself yesterday. He can't do both. He can't do managing the Prem and also go for a cup. The only thing I would say is if he is able to get the Europa League over the line and get Spurs the 2-for-1 that we're going to get, which is a trophy in Champions League football, then he might have been a genius. And the narrative will be he sacrificed our league form in order to win that cup. But if he doesn't do that, then he's the biggest disgrace and gamble I've ever seen in my life. And he better lay low. You know the ones, because man, them are going to be out for him. So the answer is Amorim keeps his job because he deserves to keep it. It's unfair. Postecoglou, I actually think he's damned if he does, and he's definitely damned if he doesn't.
What are you saying, Dan?
I can't lie, Potts. I can't lie. This is watching Amorim the last couple of weeks for United. I'm starting to get the same feeling I think I get if I found an OnlyFans app on my wife's phone. The uh-oh moment. I'm literally feeling the uh-oh moment.
Why would you say uh-oh? You'll be minted, mate.
I did
Why is he doing interviews like every day? I swear that it's every day he's doing an interview.
I can't lie. First and foremost, I've got nothing to lose. Deji, we're spanking you in the final. If we don't beat you, I'm not here next season to take the rap, so I couldn't give a fuck. I couldn't give a fuck anymore. So we're absolutely battering you in the final. Secondly, look, the passionate fan in me wants this guy to succeed. This passionate fan in me is sick of seeing managers come and go. This passionate fan in me is sick of seeing players outlast another manager after another manager after another manager. And I think Z in the chat's the same as me now. Something's not right. It's the complete sticking with this formation that it doesn't work in the Premier League. It just doesn't. Yes, Wolfie, you can say what you want, mate. You can say what you want. Do you want me to finish, or do you want to sit there humming like a fucking Hoover? What do you want to do? So I worry. I worry that this is my big concern, that we're in the same shoes as we are, at the same position as we are last season. Start of this season, where we allowed Ten Hag to stay. The signings were wrong, and what followed was an abysmal season. Now, look, who knows what can happen next season? We could 100% get his players in, and he could absolutely hit the ground running, and we could do stuff. But at the moment, I can't lie, I can't see it, and that really hurts for me to say that. It really hurts because you all know that I am more than happy to give a manager time, and I get this guy's come in. I get he's come in and taken over a pool of players that are absolutely shite, but something's just not right. Like to lose in the manner that we're losing. And as much as I'm sitting here saying we're spanking you, Deji, if I'm talking logically, we do well in Europe because it's a slower pace game. It's slower. Yeah. We seem to be okay. Playing Spurs in the final, it's Premier League football. And that is where we come undone. So I just kind of feel like, and you know what people are writing in the chat? Yeah, Man United may have ruined a young manager, but sometimes as a manager, you've got to, I think, look at what you've got and you've got to play what you can. And this formation just isn't working for it. Now, you're a dickhead as a United fan. Fuck off, we don't need you. Roger, cheers, mate. Enjoy. Enjoy,
I can understand why Roger says that. I can understand it.
Why can you understand that, Wolfie? Am I not allowed to...
Bro, when I told you this formation, when I warned you about it, your words were, he has to stick to it.
Yeah,
Come hell or high water, he has to stick to it.
Wolfie, unlike you, mate, I can admit when I'm fucking wrong. I can admit when I'm wrong. I've give it time. What did you say, Charlie?
That's what he's brought into play. Of course, he's going to stick to it.
Correct.
Yes, he has to.
He's not saying change. He's not saying change.
Yeah, no, I am, Wolfie, because it's not working. With the players he has available to him, it's just not working. We're too far into the season now for him to change it up now. He's going to stick. The one thing that Man United fans keep going on about is that first fucking interview where it's like, I've come in to do a job. I've got to stick with it. We're either going to have to suffer in the short term and hopefully reap it in the long term. But at the moment, for us to lose 17 games, and look, Manchester United fans get a bad rap because we believe that we should be amongst the elite here. We should be challenging for Champions League football. We should be challenging for cups, and we are challenging for cups. But for us to lose 17 games in a season, it's unacceptable. For a club our size, it is unacceptable. For the players that we pay wages to, it is unacceptable. So he is at a major crossroads. He's going to get the summer. Of course he's going to get the summer. There's no chance he gets sacked if we lose the Europa League. I'll put any money on that. I'm not worried about him losing his job. But what I am saying is next season, he's got to come with a plan B and a plan C. Because at the moment, sticking with plan A is absolutely destroyed us. Simple as that. And I respect the fans in the stadium giving him their backing, because do you know something? For the first time in a long time, the fans have had enough of the players. The fans have had enough. On Sunday, you can put it on the manager, but there is an element of what LB said is so right. The players don't give a fuck about the league. The players don't give. And for me, that's even worse, because there's something about pride. Having pride to come out and play for that badge instead of thinking, we're in the final, who cares? Because let me tell you something. The season that they have had this season, they have not got the right to come out on that pitch in front of 70, 80,000 fans who pay their fucking money to go there and go, it doesn't matter, boys and girls, we're in the final. So I'm disgusted with the whole thing.
Can I just say, Dan, very quickly, because a lot of people are saying it's the players. And I totally appreciate Man United have got some awful players. I will not disagree. But I just don't think we can keep using that excuse all the time, because those players, as much as I think they are terrible, some of them are not 17th or 16th worthy. They might be 8th, 9th, or 10th. They might even be 11th or 12th. But if I was to say to you now, you need to get rid of sort of 8 or 9 players. I think the goalkeeper situation is an issue. I don't know whether you want to keep Harry Maguire again. That's questionable. But Lindelof probably needs to go, as does some of the others in defence that are old school, like Johnny Evans, maybe Luke Shaw if he can't keep fit. I said earlier as well when I was doing this that potentially Eriksen and Casemiro, you might have question marks about their futures due to the longevity of it. And then you've got obviously Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, Garnacho is a big question mark, and of course Højlund, right? So when you look at that, you think, yeah, fair, they're terrible. But when you look at the other names, in terms of a 25-man squad, I'm not talking about the first 11, I don't think they're as bad as what we're making out here, because Mazraoui, De Ligt, Dorgu, who's been brought, Lady Yoro, Lisandro Martinez, Dallo, you've got young Heaven, of course. You've got Harry Amas, who's a youngster. Mason Mount, Bruno. Who else we got here? Kobe Mainu, Ugarte, Xerxes, Ahmad, Garnacho have mentioned, and young Chido Obi Martin. Now, some of those are not going to, all of those are going to start in your first 11 every single time. But I've got to be honest with you, bro. I don't think that is anywhere near 16th in the league.
It's easy for you to say that, but in the last 2 seasons, we've lost, and we're still playing 31 games in the Premier League. 31 games in the Premier League, and I'm meant to be sat here saying the players aren't that bad. What the players are proving to me is that they get up for cup competitions. A team should be measured on its consistency.
16th bad?
What?
Are they bad?
No, but the table doesn't lie, Potts. The table doesn't lie. The last 2 seasons, we finished 8th last season. By a miracle, got into Europe, and now we're 16th in the league. It doesn't lie. Consistency.
Let me quickly ask this, because LB asked this earlier. Rance said, if this was Southgate, would be saying it's not on him? Give him time.
No,
it's a good question.
We wouldn't be said that. They'd be calling for him to go.
So therefore, Amorim is an issue then, isn't he? So that's what I'm saying. So as much as the players are bad, and we appreciate they haven't got horrendously bad players. They're not Wolves or Everton bad. I know the table's suggesting they are, but surely the players are better than the Everton. I mean, David Moyes at Everton.
Yeah, but
go on,
sorry, Dan, you're asking for a manager who didn't plan to leave his club halfway through the season to come into the Prem, the toughest league in world football, and hit the ground running.
I know,
because
Deji, but Deji, mate, I get what you're saying, mate, and I appreciate that, but mate, come on now. 16.
It's gone too far now.
18 points ahead of Wolves.
You're looking at this.
The ownership are too far. Sorry, Pete. The ownership are too far in with this as well now. The ownership cannot sack him. They can't, because if they do that, they're sacrificing a horrendous season, and they're taking a second L in less than 12 months with a manager. So honestly, he has to get it right.
It's gone way too far now with Amorim. Like, these losses are actually it's laughable. Like, like on the outside for everybody else, it is absolutely laughable that they keep losing in this manner. And it goes back to the players as well. Like, these players are throwing the manager and the club under the bus, because they put performances in like against Bilbao, and then put performances in like that against West Ham. That is down to that is the players' mentality.
Correct.
110%. But the manager will, quite rightly, he's been here long enough now. He's going to have to take that one on the chin. He's going to have to take responsibility for that. Now, I said to you, Dan, we've talked about this for weeks now with regards to the situation with Amorim, and I said he'll have until October. I'm not sure. I think
if they kept Ten Hag, Pete, do you think they'd be 16th?
No.
No, I don't.
I agree, but I equally don't think we'd be in with a chance of Champions League. I don't think.
No, and that's also true. But I actually think this game the fact that you play Tottenham in the final has added even more pressure. If you're playing Bodo Glimt or whoever it was, Frankfurt, who Spurs knocked out earlier on, if you'd have played them in the final, I think it'd have been a different situation. It adds more pressure on it now. For the fact that we're having this conversation about a team in 17th and 16th, one of them could get Champions League football. You have to win. You have to win. There is no losing about it. No. Man United are going into this game, in my opinion, with the most pressure on them. Facts. They have to win this. And if they don't, I genuinely do think that those quiet murmurs that get louder about Amorim. I think these fans, and maybe not yourself, Dan, because I think you are relatively quite loyal to managers like Ten Hag last season. That I think most fans will be asking for him to go, and I think Man United may well go into the summer having to make a decision. And last summer will be definitely on the owners' minds because they kept a manager that they probably shouldn't have kept, and then had to sack him mid-season. If he doesn't win this Europa League, they're going to go into the summer going, do we sack him or do we give him another chance and then have to sack him in October? The thing is, though, if the owners are going to be going from pillar to post trying to make a decision on this, I think the fans are going to ramp it up. Man United have to win this. Do you want a damning stat?
The last time Manchester United won in the Premier League against a team that isn't relegated was January the 26th against Fulham. January. That's how long it's been since they beat a team that isn't relegated.
It was 16th in the league, Wolfie. How is it damning?
It is for Man United.
It's damning, bro. You were 18 points ahead of Wolves when he signed on. You were 6 points behind Forest.
I get what you're saying, but I say it again, and I'm sick of saying it. The table doesn't fucking lie. It doesn't lie.
It says the manager's a fraud. That's what the table says. That's what it says. Because the players weren't this bad under Ten Hag, who was atrocious. Atrocious.